This animal is a stoat. It is one of the cutest animals on the planet, yet it is also a dangerous predator. The stoat's appearance is flawless, but its appealing image is misleading. A ferocious predator lurks behind it. If it were up to the stoat, it would only consume meat, preferably the meat of prey it had recently taken. The diminutive and beautiful ermine gives the idea of a defenseless animal, yet it is the victims who need to be protected, not the ermine itself. And you will find out soon enough why. The versatile and ambitious carnivores known as stoats consume almost anything. Stoats can also hunt insects, amphibians, and lizards, but mice and other rodents are their primary prey, just like they are for weasels and ferrets. In addition, they have a reputation for killing larger and heavier prey animals like rabbits and hares. Nevertheless, we have included numerous encounters in this video that will astound you due to the dangerous nature of this adorable animal. So, don't you go anywhere, even though most predators are now substantially larger than their prey. But this rule no longer applies except at the very top of the size scale. The greatest predatory cats, such as the lion and tiger, frequently chase prey that is larger than them. However, violations of this rule among smaller animals are uncommon, but the ermine is one of those exceptions. Its main prey is frequently double the predator's weight. These shots provide clear evidence that the ermine actually attacked a squirrel. No matter how hard the squirrel tried to fight it off, the ermine's jaws remained closed despite the fact that it was obviously larger in size and weight. The ermine caught the back of the squirrel's head in a death grip. Even with the predator on its back, the poor animal attempted to climb the tree. We sadly don't know what transpired after that because the video ends there. If the stoat is hungry enough, it may easily take on hares and other much larger creatures. Despite the fact that the stoat could bite the victim anywhere, it usually attacks and bites the victim primarily on the back of the neck. To kill a hare, a stoat leaps forward and sinks its teeth into the occipital bone of the target. Simply see how a creature that weighs up to 300 grams drags a prey that is 10 times heavier than it is. These visuals demonstrate that not all rabbits are willing to accept the victim position. Rather, this representative of the family has demonstrated that it is capable of defending itself. The ermine apparently didn't anticipate this turn of events. As a result, it fled as soon as it encountered threat. By the way, stoats frequently use this alleged hypnosis in their interactions with rabbits. They engage in a unique dance that serves as a distraction for the prey and enables the predator to approach for the jump. The nest of a woodpecker comes next. The bird arrived to feed its young, but as soon as it flew away, a stranger entered the hollow. After climbing inside, the ermine slaughtered all the babies and took them out of the nest one by one. The woodpecker was shocked to discover the sneaky predator in the hollow instead of the chicks when it returned. Here is another remarkable occurrence. In a farmyard, an ermine attacked a rabbit. The unfortunate creature attempted to defend himself, but in vain. All of a sudden, domestic pheasants started fighting the stoat in support of the rabbit. The ermines appeared puzzled as the bird successfully captured the meal from the predator. So, it simply decided to leave the yard. The rat is a worthy adversary because it is the same size and weight as the stoat. Just see how the stoat put in the same amount of effort in this combat as it would have if it were battling a rabbit. The ermine grabbed the rat by the tail right here. Despite the rat's vain attempts to flee, the ermine was eventually able to grip the victim by the neck. I don't believe the rat had much of a chance. The landlord of the bar where this video was shot will undoubtedly be happy with such a successful rat trap. This video shows the ermine hunting a big lizard. Even though it appeared to be succeeding in its attempts to flee, the predator nonetheless succeeded in grabbing the victim by the back of the head, making the hunt successful. Ermine is not an exception to the rule of nature that you must either hunt or be hunted in the forest. These days, the stoat in the wild has a lot of adversaries. The stoat's primary predators include foxes, martens, sables, badgers, birds of prey, and occasionally cats. These shots depict a coyote that was attempting to taste ermine. It made a lot of effort to keep up with this swift and nimble animal, but it was unable to catch it. The coyote was sniffing its approach to the victim when the ermine managed to hide under a log and fled from the opposite side. The coyote continued searching for the ermine in the branches after missing its attempt to flee. The stoat in these images located a rat's nest and started to pull the prey out of it. Naturally, the predator would continue until it was destroyed and dragged everyone out. The rats apparently realized that, so as soon as the strong guy dragged the first one out of the nest, the others leaped from the nest with lightning speed and fled the area. After realizing there were no eggs in the henhouse, the owners installed a video camera, since they assumed something must have happened there. After that, everything made sense. Up to 4 eggs per day were taken by the stoat, who frequented the henhouse. Here is a further video of an ermine taking eggs from birds. Ermines never pass up the chance to demolish a bird's nest. Have you ever seen weasels in the air? Here is a weasel riding a woodpecker, so take a look. An amateur photographer in Hornchurch Park, London Green, captured this image. Weasels don't eat woodpeckers because they typically feed on the ground. But weasels are fearless creatures, though they are also aggressive like lions, but they weigh like a chocolate bar. As a result, the weasel was able to fly off on the back of the woodpecker. The photographer who took this image said that the weasel immediately vanished into the grass once the woodpecker landed. It's not clear which alarmed it more, the flight or the attention of the park visitors. The stoat lost this conflict with the domestic cat, which was not good for the wild animal. The tiny predator made strenuous attempts to protect itself and flee, but to no avail. The wicked black cat bit the stoat in half. Another odd hunting, or should I say fishing expedition. Only the close relative of the ermine, the mink, was involved instead. Witnesses reported seeing the mink dive and emerge with prey in its mouth after 15 seconds. In these shots, the stoat is seen battling the turd. However, surprisingly, the predator just wounded the prey before running away. The bird's inability to fly indicated that the injury was severe. The rabbit was assaulted by the ermine directly on the road. The rabbit was little, so it wasn't very good at defending itself. The man who was recording this video jumped to the rabbit's aid and scared the ermine away. Despite the rabbit's attempts to conceal it, the predator continued to assault it. Once more, the creator of the video prevented the rabbit from being eaten by the ermine. Here's an interesting fact. Stoats were once introduced to New Zealand to control the population of rabbits because of their tendency for reproduction. But the experiment was a failure. After mating in New Zealand, stoats started eating not only rabbits, but also the uncommon native birds, especially the endangered kiwi bird. These ground-nesting and hole-nesting birds are most at risk from stoats since they have few options for avoiding their predation. Due to stoat attacks on female ducks, who were incubating eggs, the population in some regions has shifted to being 70% male. This time, the ermine's encounter with the gray heron went poorly. The law of the wild, or survival of the fittest, applies here, and there is nothing that can be done about it. Because there are so many rodents around, the ermine becomes very excited during the hunt and kills as many as it can. The extremely effective predator in this situation frequently merely consumes the victim's brain and discards the carcass or hides it for a rainy day. But when the rainy day actually arrives, the ermine turns to hunt lizards, snakes, amphibians, and occasionally insects to keep the predator from going hungry. It must consume food every 3 to 4 hours. The average ermine diet consists of 2 to 3 mice and 1 giant rat every day. And if it goes longer than 8 hours without food, it will really starve to death. In other words, ermines often catch more prey than they can eat in a single sitting when they go after it. They typically put aside any extra they're able to obtain. It's no secret that this tiny guy binges on food. What do you think of this predator with a cute appearance but a vicious appetite?